What else did I do this week? I played a lot of indie games this week, actually. Some better than others.
Was
Woolie, have
one of
you?
them Ghostwire Tokyo?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was.
The indie game
Is it?
known as
No, it's not.
Ghostwire. No, it's not.
It's a Bethesda game.
It,
Well, I played Ghostwire Tokyo last night, and it's really fascinating. It's kind of not what I thought it would be.
it looks
Like
so cool. It looks so cool.
it's
What's
like an
happening?
open world ghost shooter, but the area is like absolutely gigantic, and like probably the weirdest thing is that like they go, "Oh, Tengu are in the sky," and you just pointed a Tengu above a skyscraper and just
Hmm.
latch onto it, and then you're rooftop jumping, and then you
Hmm.
can glide like Batman. Like
Yeah.
it's fascinating. It's
That's
so fucking weird.
so like what's I'm really curious to hear like what it is that is rubbing people the wrong way.
The thing that I would probably suspect is that there aren't that many weapons and there aren't that many enemies.
Repetition.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the absolutely like visually immaculate, fascinating world that they've described, like shown off, is super cool. Um, but like when fighting enemies, even at the end of like the 4.5 hours that I did, was starting to get a little tiring,
Hmm.
and I wasn't getting enough cool new abilities to balance that out. But I'm going to be playing it again this week, so I'll have more to say on it then.
Did you did you have any boss fights?
Yeah, I had a couple, but the boss fights in that game are either arena battles against huge amounts of enemies, or fights against somewhat stronger enemies that have like a different look, but are functionally the same as a regular enemy. So
Okay.
nothing like a big bombastic
Yeah. Okay.
um uh like boss fight so far. But again, I only played it for 4-ish hours. So it's very positive, but I feel like it's gonna be like a flawed gem. Like people who love it are gonna really love it, and it has some incredible strengths, but it has some like significant weaknesses.
If repetition is what is hurting it, it makes me think that could it have been perhaps better if it was like smaller scale, so you just had more unique things that you didn't have to
I don't know.
repeat over and over. You know,
I don't know.
less
Because it feels
encounters of the same kind.
because like one of the biggest draws of it is wandering around like what feels like 40 or 50 Shibuya blocks, and it's really cool. You okay, bro?
I'm okay.
Okay. Look like you're about to vomit into your shirt.
Just coughing.
Okay. Don't vomit into your shirt. We can all
I'm not. I'm not.
fucking.
It's okay. There's no purses nearby. We're fine.
Okay, we're good. Okay. So there's Ghostwire. Ghostwire's cool, but probably a little flawed. What else? I'm actually looking at the list of shit that I did this week. I talked about
Indies, you
triangle
say?
strategy.
No.
I didn't?
No.
I thought I did. Oh, well, I played triangle strategy. Hey, guess what? That is a really gorgeous little strategy RPG that um has very bad pacing.
Oh.
I played it for hours and hours and only got to fight twice. It felt like I was starting up Persona 5,
Oh boy. Okay, I know that vibe. What would you
right?
compare that? How would you compare it to Octo?
Visually, it's very similar. The plot's a little bit more interesting. It's a lot more like Game of Thrones, like backstabbing royal families kind of stuff. It has a main story
Hmm.
instead of a bunch of different ones, but they clearly spend like I played it for about 4, and then I'm talking to people, and it feels like the first 5 hours of the game are the setup to the conflict, which you would need for there to be a big war with all this political maneuvering.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like you you fight a bandit asshole at the very beginning of the game, and I genuinely feel like that whole sequence was added in because they realized that you went 5 hours without fighting anyone in the game's real gameplay.
Mm. Is the setup engaging though?
Yes, it is engaging,
Okay.
but it's also slow and methodical, and I have
Okay.
not gone back to it since. That being said, when I did actually get to play the strategy RPG parts, yeah, it's a really solid strategy RPG that I will eventually get through that slow burn and very much enjoy. But yeah, it's a super slow burn, like super slow.
Because I mean, I think I was having that kind of sounds similar to what I was describing when I played Wolf Stride, but if what is happening as it's setting up is enjoyable, then
Yeah,
it's not as
the
bad.
yeah, the basic thing is that you're getting like a lady in an arranged marriage to you for your royal house, and then you meet everybody in your household, and what the situation with your household is. Then you go to the king's tournament in
Mm-hmm.
which all the major players are there. But the way that it does that is that it literally, like, you encounter and it will list off and it will show off every single major player in the game politically, back to back to
Mm.
back to back to back to back to back. Events aren't happening, and it makes sense in context because it's like a royal event where people are showing up and actually legitimately being introduced.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, okay,
man.
okay.
I was about to say, like, like even in games where if like it'd be great if you had something like where that setup was happening alongside your an ability to, like, I don't know, go through some sort of little training room that, like, gets more that gets harder as you build up or whatever. Then I was like, wait, no, fuck that. 13 Sentinels is amazing. It already solved this problem. God bless
Final
13
Fantasy
Sentinels.
Tactics to this day still remains probably the best strategy RPG in that it does not have flaws.
uh,
Like I'm
like
sitting here and I'm like, no, it's kind of perfect.
like you're going through the story in 13 Sentinels and you're like, okay, I feel like fighting now. Game's like, word, okay, let's go. All right, I'm good. All right, nope, whatever you want. It's right there. Just press R1. Like it's so nice to have it at your own pace.
But yeah, it's a good game. I'll get back to it. Slow start, kind of a bummer, but okay. I played Tunic. Have you played Tunic, Wooly?
I have not played Tunic.
Okay. Have you seen Tunic?
I heard the name Tunic,
Okay.
but I don't know what it is.
Tunic is one of those games. It's an independent little game with a little fox character. And the little fox character wears a little green tunic
Mm-hmm.
and has a little sword and a little shield, and you
Mm-hmm.
play it from a pseudo isometric perspective in a cartoon art style. And I'm
Cute.
like, somebody, and you wake up on a little beach
Mm-hmm.
on a mysterious island, and
And the
like,
shield is blue with a sigil on it and a little.
and you have a parry that you can reflect laser beams from the robots back at them.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely not Zelda.
It
Wink.
it sure doesn't.
It is the most unabashed, unashamed, legally distinct, fucking Link's Awakening tribute game I could even conceive.
Spin attack.
No.
Okay.
There's a little bit of Souls stuff in there with like the way your potion works and stuff like that. It is so incredible and perfect in every way
The art style is really cute. It's really cool.
It's visually gorgeous. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds great. The level design is fantastic. The controls are stellar. But on top of that is the exploration in the game is like one of those things of like behind every weird angle of a door, there's a secret hidden path or there's a hidden treasure chest and something like that. And it has a fascinating take on in-game language that makes Fez look so stupid, in which there is an in-game language which is being actively translated by your character on items as they use it, it appears.
Okay.
But the game's biggest collectible is so fascinating. The game's biggest collectible are pages of the game's instruction manual.
Whoa. Okay.
So you pick up a page of the instruction manual, and that is what tells you how to sprint, right?
Okay.
And what the buttons do. But you'll also pick up the instruction manual / strategy guide, and it'll tell you to ring the east bell, you go to these areas, and to ring the west bell, you go to these areas. But some of them are question marks. And then you'll pick up a different piece of the instruction manual, and it'll tell you that there's like, here's a map for this dungeon. And when you go and look at that instruction manual for the map of the dungeon, you have a little character icon because it's the game's real map use for that dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the in-game device for teaching you things.
yeah, so there's a mechanic to upgrade your character that is literally hit a certain button in front of the upgrade machine. And the only reason I figured that out is because I got the instruction manual that says this is what these items mean and this is what you do. You go up to the statue and you hit this button, and I did that, and oh, there was an upgrade system here the whole time. I didn't know because I didn't hit every button right next to it.
Does it feel tonally dissonant to the game itself as you find?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's just so good.
Okay. Interesting.
It's just
that
you should check it out.
When I
it's great.
When I see isometric like beautiful levels like this, like my brain just says like super giant. You know, like they've I feel like they've just kind of equated themselves with it. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh yeah, right, Bastion, Transistor, you know, Hades. Who makes this though? Who's Tunic by?
I don't know. Tunic video
Finji.
game.
Finji.
Who the fuck is that? Oh wait, engine. The developers are Andrew Sholdis and the Tunic team.
Cool.
I'm gonna assume this is their first game.
Wait, this is not on Switch? Oh boy.
No.
You would think. Oh boy. Okay. Huh.
But yeah,
Alright.
it's
Cool.
very good game. Moving on. You know what else is a very good game? I don't know if you've checked it out, but it seems up your style. Have you ever seen Anno Mutation M?
Yeah. I haven't played it, but I have heard much about that over
You should
a while
goddamn play it.
Mm-hmm.
Anno Mutation M is a side-scrolling action RPG adventure game
Yeah.
that has one of the most striking art styles I have ever seen in any game in my life.
It was one of those things where I saw the tweet announcing it, and I saw footage of it on just Twitter, and I'm like, okay, what is that? Add it to the list. Quit immediately. Just put it on the short. Like, check this out for sure at some point when you get a chance. Mm-hmm.
It is like 2000 era sprites with too many frames of animation, on top of super high res PS1 PS2 backgrounds that are 3D.
Blade Runner, Cyberpunk.
Like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, Valhalla aesthetic. And then I played the demo of it a while back, and then I played the retail version just a few days ago. And the retail version had a lot of, like, it just felt better. Like, jump timing and, like, movement and swinging your sword felt a lot better. And, like, it's this hyper specific perspective, but then they still figure out ways to do cool camera tricks and lighting tricks. Like there's a sequence in an early rooftop chase where a person uses a crane to like knock over a bunch of stuff, and like the cyberpunk shaded lights are going. It's so cool.
I feel like I heard about this years ago, and we've been waiting on it.
It's been in development for years and years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a name that I've been.
I've seen some people go, oh, like Valhalla, cool. Like not only just like Valhalla, like you go to a bar and meet Jill on her off time, and she's like, I run a bar from Valhalla, from it's my bar. I am the bartender from Valhalla. Hello. Indie game creators are all friends. We will put our characters in anything. It's just so cool. Like, I didn't play enough of it to give a review, and I'll definitely be playing more of it on my own time. But like, it's so fucking cool.
Oh, I'm glad it's finally out. Yeah.
They've also translated so the translation when I was playing it was a little rough because I think it's only 1 or 2 people working on it, and they're Chinese, so they're translated in English, and there's a couple foibles, but apparently got a translation pass again just yesterday or the day before. Like, it's just so cool. It's a cool game. You should check it out.
Yeah, I'm looking back at when it was announced in 2020. So, I mean, I feel like even before that, I must have seen a dev tweet or just there's stuff that is in like a really really early alpha phase that people are kind of going like, oh, just messing around in a test environment, Yeah, right on. Oh, absolutely.
So there's like this, and then there's also like later on there's going to be Signalis, which is the other game that is just trading on that like extraordinarily specific PlayStation 1 aesthetic that I think is fucking cool.